The president, not only one who has a problem with the press. Democrats now taking a page from the Trump playbook and going after the media. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi blaming the Fourth Estate for the divide over her leadership of the Democratic Party.
And I know NBC has been on a jag of this. This is one of their priorities, to undermine my prospects as Speaker. But putting that aside, I have not asked one person for a vote. I haven't asked a candidate or an incumbent for a vote.
And hours after saying he believes in a free press, New York City's mayor, Bill de Blasio, reportedly had bodyguards physically remove a credentialed New York Post reporter who tried to ask him questions, legitimate questions, about his administration's many meetings with lobbyists. De Blasio also taking shots at Fox News.
So you'd rather not have the New York Post or Fox News exist?
Look, it's a free country. I'm saying because they exist, we've been changed for the worst.
So, Jesse, you're going to stick up for NBC here and say they're doing right, or you're going to say, hey, wait, they went after Trump, too?
Well, here's how NBC operates, and all the media does the same thing. They'll find a story, they'll seize on it, and they'll try to exploit it for partisan gain. For instance, I don't think people at NBC necessarily like Pelosi, so they're trying to create a little bit of an anti-Pelosi wave, and this is how they do this. They will call every single Democrat in Congress and put them on the spot in an official capacity and say, listen, are you going to vote for her as Speaker? Then they will call every Dem nominee. Will you vote for her as Speaker? They will call the staff of all the Democrats in Congress. Will you vote? Then they'll run a poll. And then they'll do a few deep dives and some think pieces. And then they'll maybe book the opponent. And then they'll have a debate on CNN. So they foster this crazy scrum that then forces the hand of politicians. They could have done this with Dianne Feinstein. You know, she had a mole from China working for her for 20 years. They could have asked every senator on the Republican and Democratic side, do you condemn this? Do you feel comfortable with her? They could have asked her opponent out in California. So they can foster these types of the momentum to have people apologize or step down. And when they choose a target, they're relentless, and they can really.
This is a Democrat, so Trump says NBC, fake news, all that. But now they're going after Pelosi. So Kennedy, how do I make sense of this? What's going on here?
Well, I think you see the president talking about fake news, and he gets very frustrated that some of these big outlets, like the failing New York Times, are coming after him, and they are quite relentless. So I think what this does is the competing biases actually negate each other. So this is a spot of good news for the press, which has been painted so partisan and so anti-Trump. You know, the New York Times, if you remember, they went after Hillary in a number of ways. And one of the entities that she blamed for her failure and her loss, well, she didn't blame her own failure, her own unlikability. That would have been rich. No, she blamed the New York Times. So it's one of those things where instead of taking personal responsibility and doing some thorough examination of your political life and the way people perceive you, it's much easier to blame someone else, like NBC, which has always been very left-friendly. The funny thing is, this is the one issue where Republicans and far-left progressives can agree. None of them like Nancy Pelosi, and she is a great campaign tool for all of them.
Well, so Dana, is it a matter of an adversarial press angering all of our politicians?
Well, look, I think also, where in the world would she get the idea that going after the press works? Okay, I mean, we've learned that, okay? But it's also, NBC is going where the story is. Whoever the leader is, they're the one who is going to get attacked. So the two main people that are being attacked from the right or the left in this year's midterm elections is President Trump and Nancy Pelosi, because there is no Democrat equivalent until 2020 of President Trump. So she's going to take all the heat. This was true for Tom Daschle, Harry Reid, Mitch McConnell, Speaker Boehner, Paul Ryan. I mean, this is normal, and it's also where the controversy is. So I think they're following the story. John Fund had a piece in National Review today.
I read that.
I can't. As it's coming out, I'm like, Jesse's going to roll his eyes. But he said that he thinks that perhaps the Democrats might have a October surprise, excuse me, that they will pull Nancy Pelosi from any consideration for leadership so that the Democrats have a better chance of beating Republicans in November. Don't know if it's true, just passing along John Fund's idea.
So we have a moment of comedy here, Tyrus, where people are saying, well, maybe the press is just doing their job. They're going after all these people at the top.
Well, first of all, 20-year mole, that's pretty good moling. I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. Feinstein had a mole 20 years. Wow, that's a lot of recordings. Here's the thing. And I always equate things to my brain. I always think sports. if my GM is, we have a losing season for a decade, it's probably time for the GM to go. And if the fans won't do it because they love him, and Democrats just don't seem to ever want to make an aggressive move without a lot of help. Yeah, unless you're Cleveland, right? So and let's just say that maybe NBC's a little bit to the left, and they might want to use their platform to maybe get that horrible GM out. Yeah. So they start early now. Maybe one of the players will get up and be like, you know what, I'll take that job. Like, this is a great idea for me. I think it's more they're trying to ignite the base and they're trying to ignite their party. Do something. They're just assuming there's this wave coming, but there's no thunder and lightning or rain to build it up. So I think it's more of like, if she won't go on her own, we got to get rid of her ourselves.
I think they're doing the same thing to Hillary Clinton. I think
their
insurance policy is to make sure she doesn't run again.
She's got to go.
And, and it's not as though you can't claim that the Democratic establishment or the mainstream media is sexist, because they have fallen all over themselves, falling in love with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Well, so have we. And see, so that's where also we feed that we go to the story. Where's the story? She's new. She's the energy. Tom Perez, the head of the DNC, says she's the future of the Democratic Party. We're like, really? Okay, we'll check it out, and we'll run all the clips, and we'll see it. And so,
future's blank.
Guess what? If you're in the news business, you go to where the story is.
Yeah.
You know what strikes me is when the stories came out about like Ryan Zinke or Scott Pruitt. I think Pruitt's the one who tried to get his wife a Chick-fil-A franchise.
There were other things that he
got that great lotion in the middle of the night.
Yes, but then they say fake news. So I don't get it. I mean, is it fake or not? Did NBC lean left, lean right? I don't get it.
I think it leans left, Juan. Open your eyes.
Well, but not in this case. Unless what Tyra said is right. They're trying to get rid of
secure a good future for the Democratic Party.
Okay.